Wars change global orders, and the Ukraine war is no different. Once a waning power, Russia is again sprawling back into the global arena, and that too at the expense of China's expansionist warfare. Hi and welcome to TFI Global, the foreign affairs and geopolitical analysis arm of the TFI Media Group. I'm your host Atul Mishra, and guys, if you still haven't subscribed to the TFI Global channel yet, what exactly are you waiting for? Hit the subscribe button, boss, and press the bell icon. And only that way YouTube police will allow you to receive all the latest updates. Now let's begin. China and Russia are breaking up. Their relationship has always been described as a marriage of convenience. And frankly speaking, Russia is no longer required to keep China in good humor to safeguard its economic interests. Despite weak need support from China, Moscow has done a pretty good job at braving the Western assault on its economy. That's because India, a country of 1.4 billion people and a fuel-guzzling nation, put its weight behind the Kremlin in an unprecedented way, as if there was no tomorrow. This has made Moscow realize that China's position in Russia's foreign policy might actually be pricier than it's estimated. According to reports, Putin has now made it a point to bulldoze China's much-touted BRI project in Russia. The Ukraine war has already rendered China's rail links to Europe via Central Asian nations defunct and redundant. Now, China's investments in its Russian BRI projects have fallen to a perfect zero. This year, China has spent not even a single penny on BRI projects in Russia. This is primarily because of two factors. First, China's coffers have run dry. Second, Russia is no longer a lucrative investment destination, at least for China. Make no mistake, Russia has its sights set on the Northern Sea route, or the NSR. NSR is a shipping lane officially defined by Russian legislation between the Atlantic and the Pacific Ocean, specifically running along the Russian Arctic coast from Murmansk on the Barents Sea along Siberia to the Bering Strait and the Far East. Experts anticipate that this trade route will dominate the global trading regime in 2 or 3 decades. So it makes all sense for China to actually bet on the winning horse, which is Russia in this case, rather than making costly investments in terrorist nations like Pakistan. However, the question to be asked here is whether Russia wants Chinese projects on its soil or not. Russia understands that China is an expansionist power, a power that has already set warning bells ringing in Moscow by declaring itself a near-Arctic state. China has not even shied away from staking ludicrous claims on the Russian port city of Vladivostok. In Central Asia, China already has launched an unofficial coup. So Russia has realized that China's economic leverage against Moscow must be cut to size before it's too late. So perhaps it's the Russian government that is deliberately preventing China's infrastructural projects in the country. But Russia is not an economically self-sufficient nation. It lacks capital, it lacks manpower, it lacks a huge energy market at home. So obviously it needs a strong economy to hold its hands. Russia has finally found one, and this power is not an expansionist one like China. Well, I'm an Indian and I'm definitely talking about India, but the facts also suggest that it is, in all probabilities, India itself. While China's global status has taken a massive hit post-pandemic, India's rise on the geopolitical map has remained steady and impressive. Whether in the Arctic or in the Russia's Far East, Russia has worked hard to replace Chinese investments with those from India. As per Economic Times, India's cumulative investment in oil and gas projects in Russia exceeds $15 billion. It is the single largest destination of Indian overseas investment in the oil and gas sector. Russia has already planned a greater role for India in its Northern Sea route ambitions. For instance, back in 2019, New Delhi and Moscow signed an MOU to open a full-fledged maritime route between Russia's eastern port city of Vladivostok and Chennai on India's eastern seaboard. Through this trading route, India can easily access Russia's highly priced energy projects in the Arctic. This will not only guarantee India easy access to cheap sources of energy, but will also help New Delhi encircle China strategically. As I mentioned earlier, wars usually change global orders, and the war in Ukraine has made Russia a geopolitical heavyweight again. Given India's imminent economic and political rise on the world map, the Russia-India partnership can really pay off, and this will greatly help India take on China by its devilish horns and dwarf its economic and military might for the global good.